Hello, welcome back to Class with Prof. Eve. I am Prof. Eve, I'm Evelyn, and in this video, I'm going to talk about atheism. Now, I've already started receiving comments about this video. Let me get in the frame here. I've already received comments about this video before it even premiered, so I imagine that there'll be a lot of comments on this video. And hopefully a lot of views too. So that's all good. And I welcome that. Actually, I want engagement. I want people to watch the videos I'm posting. I would love for you to comment and share your perspectives on any video that I post. That's what it's for. So don't ever think that I'm against that. Just make sure that your comments are thoughtful and respectful, because my response to you or anything that I would say toward you it's going to be thought out and it's going to be respectful. So yeah, let's get into it. This is something that I thought about for a long time, throughout my entire life, actually. And I'll list a few disclaimers before I start sincerely here. This video is not meant to be rude or accusatory or attacking or shaming or condescending. This video is not about convincing anyone of anything or trying to push people toward religion or anything like that, okay? I think it's fair to talk about something that's on my mind, even if it's atheism or atheists. Atheists sure talk about religious people all the time. I'm a Muslim person. People talk about Muslims all the time, every day, all day long. Muslims are being talked about. When I was Christians were being talked about all the time. So atheists, you can get it too. And not that, again, this is like some confrontational discussion, but it's fair to talk about what you believe, just like it's fair to talk about the beliefs of religious people. Now, as I mentioned, I am a religious or spiritual person. I'm Muslim. So I acknowledge that there's some bias, there. Like, I obviously believe in God, and that is what makes sense to me, which is probably why I have so many questions around atheism. But I also want to mention that, I wasn't always Muslim. I reverted or converted, I want to say maybe 7 years ago or something like that. And before that, I was Christian. My entire family is Christian Baptist, went to church, 3-4 days a week. I was a part of all the different, groups, usher, in the choir, praise dance team. I did it all. Okay. Sunday school, Wednesday Bible study, the whole shebang. But there's also a point in my life where I stepped away from church. I was really discouraged by the people in the church and the way that they interacted with me and other people. And ultimately, it was the response that I got from a Christian pastor, or I don't know if the letter came directly from him, but I'd missed a few Sundays of attendance, in church. And they basically sent me a letter saying that I was no longer a member of the church because I hadn't attended. And I thought, wow, I could actually be removed as a member from church because I hadn't attended. There was no question about how I was doing. No one had tried to call me. They just sent this letter telling me that I was removed as a member. That was extremely hurtful and kind of traumatic for me at the time because, like I said, I was heavily involved in the church for a large part of my life in my youth, and it meant a lot to me. And even though I wasn't going, I still believed in God. And I think that's something that's been a constant in my life, is my belief in God. Even when I wasn't going to church regularly or at one point at all, I still believed in God. I never got to a point in my life, even from my youngest age that I can recall, where I didn't actually believe in God. I think I believed in God before I knew what God was, or before there was any church or anything like that. I feel like I believed in God because I always had this wonder about like the world and like nature. I'm a person that's really into nature and the outside environment and trees and plants and animals, all those sorts of things. And I find them miraculous. We haven't even gotten to like the 7 wonders of the world and how the pyramids in Sudan and Egypt were constructed. All of that stuff is also quite miraculous. But before I knew about all that, I was like, look at the sky. Like, what? Like, clearly, these little Weasley humans didn't create that. Like, something bigger is going on here, something larger is going on here. So I've always had a belief in a higher source or God, I'll say, even when I wasn't involved in any particular religion. So that is my I guess that could be a bias of why I have had these kinds of questions about atheism, and I think that's just fun. So for me, God, or we call God Allah in Islam, or in Arabic, and Allah just means God. So God or Allah is everything to me. Like, God is like everything that exists is God. Some people refer to a higher source or their God maybe as the universe, or what are some other names? Spirit, and those sorts of things. But for me, God encompasses all of that. God is the creator of like all things: humans, the sky, animals, dirt. Like for me, God is like all of those things. So there's no separation between God and the universe, for me. And so I think that that's important to just kind of identify or define what I perceive as God in the first place. And so the title of this video is, do atheists deny the pull of God, or deny the pull of spirituality or spirit or religion? And I wonder this because, again, even when I wasn't practicing, and even my, atheist friends and family and things like that, I've noticed these like feelings or inclinations or awareness toward a higher source. They had wonder about certain things. They had a lot of questions about spirituality and religion and what I was doing. And even to this day, like, that's nothing new with atheists. A lot of atheists seem really consumed with religion. They seem really, really interested in religion and religious people. And so I find that fascinating as well. For something that you don't, you're not aligned with, perhaps. For some atheists, I can't speak for all atheists, or really any atheists, really. But maybe for some atheists, you don't, how do I want to say this? Yeah, even if you feel like you're not aligned, or you don't believe in God or religion, it's something that still occupies your mind space so much. Like, religion and religious people like live rent free in the minds of so many atheists. And there's like so many videos you can find on YouTube of people that identify as atheists, and they talk about religion and religious people almost all the time in those videos, like hours sometimes of that kind of discussion. And it's really peculiar to me because this is probably the only video I'm going to make about atheism. There's a curiosity around it for me, but I'm not going to spend all of my time thinking about it, or dedicating videos, to it. Like, it's not my interest, my foundation, like I'm not that interested in spending that much time and energy on this particular subject. So I don't know why so many atheists are so wrapped up in the lives and practices of spiritual religious people. Yeah. And I want to talk about something that I also experience, and maybe this is a reason that some people even became atheists, perhaps, or have maybe even moved away from religion or spirituality at one point in their life, or maybe this is why they have sometimes a more pessimistic or negative view of religion or spiritual people, because some atheists do. Sometimes that's because of bad experiences in churches, in mosques, in synagogues. It's the people that we've encountered that have obviously not internalized the things that they're preaching, the principles and values that they're conveying from their pulpits, or during their khutbahs, during their, mass. or whatever, for that particular spirituality or religion, they're not living it. You see these contradictions coming out in a lot of these people, and it's a big turnoff. It's like, why should I listen to anything that you're saying when you're not actually living what you're saying? You're not, you're teaching something that you're not actually living. Like maybe you don't even actually believe in this yourself. Maybe there's another ulterior motive here, some other interest that you're doing this for, because it can't be authentic because of X, Y, and Z, because of the way that you treat other people, because of the things that you do outside of this religious organization. And that certainly was my experience throughout my time in the Christian church. And I'll even say, with Islam as well. If it was just for the Muslims alone, oh no, I couldn't do it. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it. And I'm not perfect. No one is. I don't expect that from anyone. I don't expect anything near perfection from human beings. But one thing that really grinds my gears is people that go so hard for their religion and their belief system, and they don't actually live it. Like it's not actually a part of who they are. And actually, they're actually quite nasty and hostile and disgusting people and cruel people. Like I have no respect for people like that. Or I don't care what religion you're a part of. So I'm sure that could be a reason that people have a certain distaste about religion and spirituality, because some of the people that claim to practice it. And I don't know what else, might be going on for atheists or agnostics. There is a discipline required to be an authentically spiritual person or religious person, because there are principles and values connected to each of those belief systems. There is a way of life connected to that. Like there are behavioral modifications, there are things that you have to be mindful of. There are things you're not supposed to do. For Muslims, there's no alcohol, no pork. Okay. You're not supposed to be out here having promiscuous sex. Like those are things, those three alone, like that's like, some people are like, oh no, I could never, I could never commit to that. It requires discipline. I mean, Islam is different though altogether. 5 prayers a day. It's just Ramadan right now. We're fasting from sun up until sundown. No food or water. That takes devotion and discipline, baby. Believe it. So not everyone is built for it. Actually, I retract that statement. I think that everyone could be built for it, because we can do a lot of things when we set our mind to it. When we really want to do those things, we find a way, don't we? Even if we can't afford it, don't know how we're going to get there, think someone's way out of our league. If you really want that thing, usually we find a way. We find a way. So, there's a lot of discipline and changes to like your everyday life, really, that you would have to take on to be, someone that's authentically a part of a spirituality or religious belief system. So that can be hard. That can be, challenging, especially in a culture where those sorts of principles and values run in opposition to the culture. For example, in U.S. society, I mean, I don't hang out with a lot of people anymore. Obviously I don't go out to like bars and all that kind of stuff, but it's like every social gathering, for some people, there has to be alcohol of some sort there. Or other illicit drugs, right? Like there has to be like something going on. And I used to think that was normal, and I used to gladly take part in it. But then like I realized, like, okay, would I enjoy being around these people and doing these things if I didn't consume massive amounts of alcohol? And when I stopped drinking, I realized the answer was no. Like people are sedating themselves essentially because they really don't even like the people that they're around, and the people around them probably don't even like them, and they don't even like what they're doing, and they don't even like themselves. Like, why else would you like consume so much alcohol that you're in like a stupor every single day? I'm not gonna get into a rant about that because I used to be a sincere alcoholic, and I was definitely trying to mask and hide my own feelings, trauma, things I was unhappy about in my life. Like, that was absolutely the reason I was downing a bottle of wine every night at one point, like a whole bottle of wine for me. So coming back around to atheism, I think those are things that could be turnoffs, and also just the way that these religious institutions are set up. They're not the most welcoming to same-sex couples and queer people. I would say that they're not even very well equipped to take care of poor people. Like, there is definitely a middle class, upper class tendency in these institutions. I wrote an article about this that was published in Hood Communist, called "We Need a Revolutionary Ummah," where I was specifically talking about Islam. So you should check that out. So yeah, there's a lot of things that would make a lot of people say, I think I'll pass on that. So atheists, I'm curious about when you knew you were atheist. Was it after an experience that you had, or your whole life? Maybe you just never felt a connection or never had any sort of encounter or engagement with spirituality or religion. And there is a distinction, I think, that can be made between spirituality and religion. And I'm interested in that conversation as well from the atheists, and also other religious people who also agree that there is a distinction there. There can't be a distinction between the two. So yeah, when did you know that you were atheist? What else do I want to ask? Yeah, what's it like? What's it like to be an atheist? In a world, really, it's not just a society, it's kind of a world where most people are beholden to certain religions or spiritualities, and maybe some of you atheists again are connected to certain spiritual systems. But what's that like to exist in a world where religion is dominant in one way or another? The Pledge of Allegiance and my son wants to go to a baseball game later today. There's going to be a standing, for the flag and the national anthem. That's where I'm going. But, God is like embedded into the fabric of our society. And I'm just wondering how you all make sense of that, how you navigate that, because I'm genuinely interested in knowing that. And how are you not, and maybe this isn't true, but this is the way I'll phrase it. How are you not just completely bewildered by the magnificence and the abundance of life, and the things that are so clearly not developed or constructed by human beings, that have clearly come from some other source? I actually want to read something from a book that I've been reading for literally years. Shout out to Fozia for giving me this. I still haven't finished it yet. But it's called Revelation, the Story of Muhammad, by Miraj Mohideen. There is a little piece that talks about a verse in the Quran. Actually, it's from one of the chapters of the Quran called Surah Al-Qariyah. The sudden disaster is the translation. And so it says, how then... Oh, no, this isn't it. Hold on just a second. Where'd it go? Am I on the right page? Okay, now I'm on the right page. So sorry, just remove everything I just said. I was on the wrong page. So this is actually a verse from the surah or the chapter of the Quran called Al-Ghashiyah, and that's translated to the overwhelming. All right. And so it says, don't the skeptics ever gaze at the moisture-laden clouds and ponder over their formation, or at the sky and how it's been raised up so high, or at the mountains and how they've been firmly set, or at the earth and how it's been spread out. And I think that kind of encompasses, a lot of what I've said in this video already, is the world is so miraculous and wonderful that I don't know how people make sense of that or reconcile that a lot of these things, in my opinion, everything, but a lot of these things were, obviously created by some other source. And even just the things, other things we witness in our life, health miracles. Someone had cancer and then all of a sudden they don't. Someone experiences a horrific accident and they still survive. These really wild natural disasters happen. We see things sometimes with our eyes or on, screens that are just completely fantastical. It's like, what? There's no explanation for that. Like on this earth, like there's none. And no book, no scholar can explain it. Like, how do you make sense of that? So I'm going to go ahead and conclude this video, but I appreciate your attention and thoughtfulness around this topic. And like I said, I'd love to hear from you all if you have comments or questions, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.